Welcome back to the Drive Podcast. I'm your host DJ Quest One. We have a guest. Well, we have a former co-host Shay-T, and she is writing a book. She wrote a book. It's going to be coming out. And for those who don't know who Shay-T is, introduce yourself, Shay-T or Shana.
Hi guys, my name is Shana Trahan, aka Shay-T. Shay Trey. So yeah, I used to co-host here with Rick, and that was a pleasure in my life. But yeah, gosh, who am I? That's a big question. Right
Yes, tell us
now,
about yourself.
right now, I am a, a a woman who is also a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
That's that question everybody gets caught up on when they are on an interview, right? Who tell
Mm-hmm.
us about yourself? Let's see. So I'm a woman who's also a therapist, and I've been in private practice for almost 8 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a mom and a grandmother, so and a friend and a daughter, etc. Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I like to walk and into fitness and just feeling good and just trying to have a happy life. Like
that's
live and
right.
let live. That's my little internal motto: live and let live.
Excellent. And tell us about your book. You wrote a book. What's the name of it? When are you releasing it? What inspired you?
Oh wow, Rick. Okay, you go straight to it. All right, let's hit that. The name of the book is Anxiety Fix, and it'll be out on June 2nd. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely is available for pre-order for the Kindle version.
Mm-hmm.
However, just want to suggest that if you've ever like had any issues, anxiety, depression, I'm going to say that book could definitely help with both. But it's called
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety Fix, and it's I think that it's really the best book I've ever written because it's truly about helping people, and it goes from the biology of anxiety. It looks at coping mechanisms, positive, healthy coping mechanisms. It looks at different ways of eating, which is also a part of anxiety. It just covers so many bases.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to say to you that if you ever had anxiety, this book also is kind of a semi workbook where there are some questions for you to kind of think through your feelings, your emotions, things that you've experienced in the past, and then how you will take the new knowledge to move forward and apply those things into your life. So, those are some things about the book. And I'm just excited. You can definitely buy it on Amazon.
Amazon.com under your name or we could just
Shanna
Google the name.
Trahan. Shanna Trahan. Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
okay.
yeah, Google me, right?
Yeah. Google it.
Shanna Trahan.
This is
Huh?
not your first book. You have other books you've written.
I do. And this one is, I wrote one around, I guess, around COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that one was, that was just like a work of love because I was really thinking about people who were sad, who were at
Mm-hmm.
home, who were having problems with their spouses, things like that. Right. And so in there, I give them lots of ways to get out of that space, get out of that mental space where they're sad, where they're angry, where they're frustrated, where they
Mm-hmm.
don't feel good because they are only alone or maybe with one person or, needing
Mm-hmm.
to get out. Right. So,
Right.
which that is really that's even relevant today because of all the strategies and coping mechanisms I share there. So, yeah.
So you think being that what you do as a therapist, this sparked this idea for this anxiety book. What created it? Just observing people or just, you know what, you start writing stuff down or how did this book come about?
Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, Rick. So last year, actually, just an observation of a lot of political things, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of, and then just every day, just listening to clients and what they're experiencing from different perspectives. So, emotionally, with family, with friends, with
Mm-hmm.
work, and politics, it's just been a big thing. And so, I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to find a way to give the client therapist in a pocket, basically. Like this could be in my pocket. I can't talk to my therapist every day. My therapist can't listen every day. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? If my therapist is not there, I can read this. I can go here. This can be an excellent resource.
Mm-hmm.
How do I overcome this in this moment? So yeah, kind of like a
What
therapist in a
part,
podcast.
right? What part of this writing process surprised you the most?
I would say the surprise. I don't know if so much surprise as much as
Or was it a
maybe it was
challenge?
surprise. I would say surprise. Okay, so to me, part of the surprise was just realizing how much information, you know, was
Hmm.
needed to really give people a fuller understanding. Because,
Mm,
therapy goes by, you got 45 minutes, you're okay, I'm finished. And so, and they've talked, you've talked, and then, and then it's over. But the book gives that extension of therapy. And some of it is like,
hmm.
hey, remember we talked about this, right?
Hmm.
So it's kind of a little bit of, remember we talked about this. Okay, hey, let's make sure we get on track for that. So I think what surprised me is just all that was needed to be there for people to really get a good grasp and understand anxiety themselves and how to really begin to apply different aspects of what's required in order to reduce or exit from anxiety altogether. So, yeah.
Anxiety. And you have a practice.
Oh, sure.
The yeah, for therapies and um I guess what's the name of the business? Trahan Therapy, right?
Our company is the Trahan Therapy Center, where we shape minds and change lives. And we definitely started in Texas, but I'm a New Orleans girl. So,
Mm-hmm.
directly from New Orleans. And so, yeah, so
The
right now,
NOLA.
actually, NOLA.com. Okay, yeah. So, um, from the NO. So yeah, recently I've returned to New Orleans, and this is my roots, of course.
Hmm.
However, at this point in my life, I've lived in Houston longer than I've lived in New Orleans, but New Orleans are my roots for sure. And
Hmm.
right now, the Trahan Therapy Center, we've since the last time you and I spoke, and I mean, it's
Hmm.
been a minute. So, gosh, initially we started out in Texas,
Right.
and recently we added Louisiana. But
Mm.
gosh, we're in 8 states, so not 8 or 9. Let me see if I can get them all straight. So
Wow,
Louisiana,
Ace, you've grown since the podcast we were doing at the studio, but now you're in New Orleans, so
since the pandemic, since the podcast, since the last
yeah,
conversation, everything, right?
everything, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're available in Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Delaware, South Carolina, New Hampshire,
Mm.
Idaho. I feel bad. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Lord, y'all forgive me. It's like 9 states, right? So we're
California?
available.
What about California?
No,
No,
no, we're not. That's not that.
Colorado?
No, yeah. So at any rate, though,
Mhm.
we're available in 8 or 9 good states.
Yeah.
So look us up, see if we're with your insurance. Of course, we love cash pay, but
Hmm.
ultimately, we have additional therapists, and they are excellent at what they do. So it's not just a party of one. So we have
Hmm.
excellent additional therapists besides me,
You got a
and sometimes,
team.
Yeah,
You
team.
have a team.
And so it's
Hmm.
not just me, but it's excellent people who are committed to your success. So just know that if you ever contact the Trahan Therapy Center, we're committed to your success.
There we go. There we go. Shifting back to the book.
Yes.
Do you think this book says something about current times we're living in? And you had touched earlier about it vaguely with,
Yeah. Yeah.
government and all that stuff and
Yeah.
people on
Well,
edge.
we're not going to get too political, but I will
Yeah.
say that, I certainly have had relatives, I've had clients who are facing having to leave their jobs, who are, people just buying homes and people just having
Hmm.
kids graduate high school, trying to go to college, and people not knowing, just this level of uncertainty. Um, and so for me, that is hard because I'm a therapist, but I'm also human, so that has made me feel like, gosh, I wish there's something I could do, and
Hmm.
thus this book, right? Because again, so you can contact me, we can have therapy, you can have another therapist, but
Hmm.
ultimately being able to have a lot of that information right there in your back pocket whenever you're ready to access it is beneficial. And the book is written so that if you want to work it with your therapist, you can, and if you want to work it independently, you can. So what that would entail is your therapist having a copy, you having a copy, and then you guys deciding on how you want to work it. But certainly it can be done individually. Yeah.
Can this book be also implemented for kids? You know, like if a kid has anxiety, can you read it and be like, okay, I can follow these steps?
I would say maybe 12 and up, 10,
Okay,
depending on
okay.
the level of intelligence and
Hmm.
cognitive ability, maybe 10 or 12 and up. I would say that certainly it would be beneficial for a parent who has a child that is
Hmm.
younger, and then they can read the book and think in terms of implementing some of the strategies and skills and teaching them and showing them some strategies and skills. And then also beginning to understand, okay, this is what my child is exhibiting. These,
Hmm.
excuse me, we had to erase that part. Anyway, this is what my child is experiencing. The other E word, yeah. So this is what my child is experiencing,
Hmm.
and give them more insight. Because one of the things that I've experienced historically in therapy and talking to some parents is sometimes parents feel like an issue is only a child issue. Oh, that's only
Mm.
Johnny's issue. Well, but he's in the house with you. So let's,
Yeah, you learn,
we
they
need to
learn
talk.
from you. Yes, yes,
Right, or
absolutely.
he's in the environment that you're creating. So, why is Johnny at 7 so anxious, right? So we
Hmm.
do have to kind of be, as parents, accountable and recognize our roles in what happens with our children as well. So, yeah.
What books, authors inspired you growing up?
My favorite author is E. E. Cummings, and he writes a lot of poetry,
Uh-huh.
and he's my number one. So there are others, but he's
These are
my
number E.
always.
E. Cummings, huh?
Yes, he's
And
my
what do
go
you
back to
what
whenever I go ahead.
no, no, keep going. He's your
Yeah,
so
he's my go to whenever I think of, oh, I want to go read something, but I know it's going to be relatable for me. He's that person.
awesome. And what are you reading right now?
Oh my goodness. Don't talk about me. So I'm still I know I'm late, y'all, but I'm still reading Becoming by Michelle Obama. But and it's because
Okay.
I read in the bathtub, right? And so
Hmm.
I just like read 2 to 4 pages at a time and kind of really think about it, her experience, and then think about how what I'm learning from what she's experienced, and
Hmm.
then like if there's a relationship between her life and my life, and wow, okay, I see that, I understand why she did that. So it's really, I'm digging deeper as I read it, so I'm taking my time with it, but it's an excellent book. If you have not read Becoming, I do suggest, as a person, as a human, that you read it. It's an excellent read.
Yeah, I'm still reading the Dave Grohl book, the one from the drummer from Nirvana, singer of Foo Fighters. Melody gave it to me. I'm like 3 chapters away from reading. It's a really good read. How he
Okay.
struggled and how he became an artist and how like he slept in someone's couch and like if he didn't leave, like he was gonna go back home. He was broke, he didn't have no money, and then he got the call from Kurt Cobain to join Nirvana, and the rest is history. Like like
Oh,
just
wow.
it's all about timing. I was like,
Yeah.
if he leaves like the next day, and Kurt Cobain calls for a drummer, like he's not there, like he's already back in Washington D.C. and there's no Nirvana. Who knows?
I tell you,
So.
finding a good book and reading a good book is beneficial to the soul. Truly is.
Hmm. What's next for you, Shay? What's next for you besides the book? Do you have another project? Are you taking a break? Are you vacationing? What's going on?
Well, some things I can't say. Some things just have to be action driven, right? And so I am in the process of working towards something. However, can't tell y'all all about that just yet.
It's
So,
a
but
top
I will.
secret.
It is TS, top secret. So yeah, it is. But it won't be secret for too long. So just in the process, and reading and researching and figuring life out. But yeah, I know what it's going to be already. It's just kind of yeah. So it
It's
just
in
takes
the
a little
it's
time.
it's in the
But insofar
works.
as vacation, I am looking forward to vacation. I just haven't planned it yet. So I do have some friends that are like, okay, yeah, we can go, whatever. So looking forward to something here in the next 3 months. And then hopefully
Mm.
in the next 6 months, whatever it is that I'm thinking about, that's top secret, will come to fruition. So yeah, you'll see it.
So you moving back to New Orleans, living in Houston, what's the do you feel more comfortable in New Orleans versus living in Houston? Because you lived in Houston for a while and then going back. I think you left after Harvey, right? Was it after, no, was it Katrina? or is it
Mm-mm, no,
before?
I was gone before Katrina. No, yeah. So I think that each place has its own unique qualities about it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, being in New Orleans, just kind of relearning my city, embracing my people,
Mm-hmm.
and that has been, the blessing about New Orleans. It's very people can. I don't care what the news says. I don't care
Right.
what they say about criminals, or because people put whatever slant on stuff. People in New Orleans can be very loving and very
Mm-hmm.
embracing,
I love that
and
city.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that is what I've always loved about just being here, just the embracing, the loving, the kindness, I have a neighbor across the street. He's so kind. It's an older gentleman, he and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and he's planting some stuff. And I've been planting and growing some things myself. And so this is
Mm-hmm.
new for me. And so then he's like, oh, here, put some of this stuff on your stuff. And, this is a fertilizer. And he's showing me stuff and he's teaching me stuff. So, I mean, he didn't have to do that, right? I mean, but the kindness of my neighbor, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
inspiring me, of encouraging me. I had a little issue yesterday with some electrical thing, and then my neighbor next door, he's like, "Oh, come on, let me show you, let me help you, let me do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And that is strictly New Orleans. That
Mm-hmm.
is what I have never found anywhere else that I've lived. That that your issue is my issue. Come on, let me show you, let me help you. What
Mm.
do I need to do?
Right.
and
Right.
that
Right.
is and that is a pure, that's like a love that you're born with, of,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're from New Orleans, you one of us. That's one of those, that's something that you can't implant into a person or a human. That it has to be, that's something that we learn from young. And so about New Orleans, I'm blessed to be here. And
Yeah.
they both, New Orleans and Houston, both have their own je ne sais quoi. And Houston has a lot of great things to offer to a lot of people. But it's nice to be home.
It's nice to be home. I mean, you say your hometown. And that's one thing about I think that when you have neighbors, everyone should know each other. Me, I'm a people person, so I'm gonna meet like this neighbor next is Colombian. Over here is Middle Eastern. Next one is Mexican. Just getting to know your people around you because if something happens, like you're not gonna know who these people are. I think it's important to know your neighbors, even if you don't really like them or there's something, just as long as you know who they are. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just like that guy that he had kidnapped these two girls. He was a bus driver and he had kidnapped, you heard about it, right? And he kidnapped these two girls and had them in the basement. And no one
Okay.
knew, yeah, no one knew about it because he just kept to himself. But just imagine if they would have got to know him and people, it probably would have saved those girls. But
Well, he probably was not gonna get to know people intentionally. He did that intentionally. You know what I mean? And you can't get to know somebody who refuses to let you know them.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it
You
just
do
might be
have,
like, "Hey, bye."
when people have anxiety, when you
Yeah.
see that, do you think that they get it going back, they get it from their parents or they're born with it? Because I see and I observe sometimes and I'm like, that person, they freak out, like, oh, whatever my key, whatever I can't find my keys or anything like that, where or you're lost in the store because you can't find something. Do you think that's something that, like you were saying, you learn from your parents, you're born with it, and what do you have to do to try to fix it?
Right. Well, I think that's just a huge question. I mean, there, and the answer is in the book, right? But
Nobody in the
insofar
book.
as it's in the
Give us
book,
a little
anxiety.
snippet. Give us a little snippet.
And yeah, so but what I will say is this, that, and this has to be a generalization.
Hmm.
So because there's billions of people in the world, right? Typically speaking, a person is not born with anxiety, right?
Hmm.
So as we grow up, though, we learn different ways to solve problems or not to solve problems, or how
Hmm.
to push things down and pretend it's not really happening. So as a child, when we're learning how to cope, we learn good skills, poor skills, or nobody teaches us skills, and we just kind of grab on to whatever seems to work in the moment.
Hmm.
So I think that that question can be unlocked and unfolded in so many ways. And for me to give you pieces and parts is just not enough to
Hmm.
really fully and thoroughly cover that. That's just a huge question you're asking. So, but I would say, typically speaking, people are not generally born with anxiety.
Mm, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what would be a tip to work on it?
What would be, so the biggest thing I could say to you is managing your thoughts, how you think, how you respond to internal and external stimuli, because that's where anxiety comes from. So, how do you deal
Internal, external stimuli?
internal and external stimuli, the
Stimulus.
things around us? So it could be our thoughts, the things we're thinking. It could be things that we see, accidents around us, somebody screaming at us, so it could be some internal thoughts you're having about yourself. I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that, right? And it could
Mm,
also be parents screaming at you, a husband hitting you, a wife punching you, whatever, people bullying you. So it could come from things internal, external, and it has everything to do with how you respond to that internal or external stimuli. Yeah.
there it is.
If I send you 100 coping skills right now, you say, "Hey, Shanna, I'm dealing with anxiety," and I send it to you right now. For you to see that list of 100 things is more overwhelming.
Mm,
But if I send you three today, three next week, you know what I'm saying? Now you can kind of think about it. Okay,
pieces.
yeah,
Yes.
pieces. Yeah, you have to take it in bite-sized pieces. You can't just take it like a big steak and chuck it down and be
Tuck
like,
it
okay,
down.
yeah, that was 50 ounces. You just have to take a little bit at a time, and
Right.
think it through, and be very thoughtful about the change or the improvement. Change comes over time. You can't do change is a marathon. It's like over a period of a long time.
Hmm.
Right? It's not a sprint. Oh, we got there, bam, we're finished. Like, it does not happen like that. It takes time.
I feel like now
Consistency.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Now I was just
Consistency
going
and
to say
what?
consistency. So implementing what you're learning consistently. That's the solution. That is the win. When you learn it, implement it consistently. Now you're moving in the direction where you really want to be. So if you
Hmm.
implement whatever the new knowledge is every other Friday, it goes nowhere.
Wow. That's a good saying there. I feel like this younger generation wants everything now. They don't have patience. They got the cell phones on their hand. Practically Uber. Right? Just saying that you have to be patient, work things out. So the book is Anxiety Fix. Any last words? Where can they find you? What's the website?
Sure. Of course, our business website is www.trahantherapyhouston.com. But remember, we're all over the country, guys. Find us Midwest, out east, up north. So, and of course, the southwest. So, southeast, excuse me. And yeah, just anxiety does not have to be a lifestyle. And there's
Hmm.
healthy ways to work on anxiety. Go ahead.
Fixing things.
So, your life is more than feeling nervous. Your life is more than not knowing which way is up. Your life is more than, are things black and white, or are they
Hmm.
gray and you can't deal with it. There's ways to cope. There's
Hmm.
ways to live a good quality of life.
Hmm.
And more than anything, since I've been in New Orleans, I'm recently on this 40-day fast, and it has been the best thing of my life. My thoughts are clearer. My body is in an excellent condition for my
Hmm.
young age. And I feel so wonderful. And I wish that everyone could feel how I feel. I think that this is, if I could help you to feel like I feel, I think that if I could get everyone to feel how I feel, which is happy to wake up in the morning, blessed to be here amongst others, being a blessing to others. I mean,
Hmm.
that's where I want other people to be able to be. So
Excellent.
if that,
Well said.
yeah, if anybody told you you couldn't do it, I'm telling you right now, it's possible you can. Anxiety fix is the fix.
Fix the fix. That's it. All right. I want to thank Shay-T for joining the Drive podcast. We'll definitely follow up again and see how the book goes. And definitely, before we go, does this book have notes in the back where you can write notes, like a little notepad?
Thank you for having me, Rick. Certainly, there are. I don't recall that I put a whole bunch in the back, but there's questions and things throughout in lines where you can kind of fill in some of the questions and stuff.
See, that's what I'm
So,
talking about.
hey, but
Interacting
hey,
with the book.
it's
Yeah.
your book. You can write what you want to write on it. I mean, hey, it's your book.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
can
It's your
do
book.
the thing.
And how much is the book?
It's marketing. It's right now. It's 19.99, and
19.99.
yeah, and on yeah. So that's not much for to change your life.
That's not much at all. $20 and it goes for a good cause. It's supposed to actually write more books and be inspired, and definitely learn stuff. Anxiety fix y'all. With Shay T here on the Drive Podcast. Join us next time.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Okay, bye.